What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Hana Yori Dango score. And I did want to mention, for anyone unaware, I finished my Hana Yori Dango watch-along on Patreon a couple days ago. I did a reaction, or rather a watch-along, to the extended director's cut of the Hana Yori Dango final film, and we'll be on to the sequel show, Hana no Hare, very soon. In fact, I've already shot the first installment, the first 2 episodes. I'm looking forward to getting that going and going through it with you all. And yes, we're going to listen to Cloudy Noon from the first season soundtrack, composed like both the first season, second season, and Hana Yori Dango final, so take away the word both. But yes, they're all composed and arranged by Yamashita Kousuke. But this tune, Cloudy Noon, is perhaps the most commonly heard motif, certainly throughout the first season, and I think throughout the entire run of the show and finishing film overall. And in fact, in this same batch, I'm going to do a reaction to the track called Cloudy Noon for Final from the Hana Yori Dango final soundtrack, again composed by Yamashita Kousuke. So it'll be nice to hear this pervasive tune throughout the show now that we've gone through the entire series watch-along, and to hear the special version they rearranged for the, or rather Yamashita Kousuke rearranged for the Hana Yori Dango final film. So yes, I think this is a very Makino and ultimately Makino and Domyoji based tune. Not that you don't hear it perhaps in some other moments where there's some side stories or storylines being shown or discussed, but by and large I associate this melody and this track specifically with Domyoji and Makino specifically. So in any case, let's give it a listen. This is Cloudy Noon from the Season 1 track, or Season 1 soundtrack rather, of Hana Yori Dango, composed and arranged by Yamashita Kousuke. It's funny because that main melodic motif is used in other arrangements throughout this first season soundtrack. So, again, I think this particular track and arrangement of that melodic theme is heard very often in the first season, especially, and overall. And I'm thinking of, I think it's the end of the third episode when Makino and Yuki are like out shopping, but Domyoji is waiting for her at Ibusu Garden Place. I think this track plays, and it sort of gets to the end with that sort of lingering guitar, and it's starting to rain, and she rushes over to see if he's actually there. So I think of that scene. I think there's a couple other scenes where it leads into another scene with like Makino's family, and maybe even another track specifically, which changes the atmosphere a bit. So it's one that is not only used to set the scene emotionally and narratively between Makino and her feelings and Domyoji and Rui to a certain extent, certainly in the early seasons, or the early season. But ultimately it's used as like a transitional type of track as well to, something else and another track. So I think it's fantastic. Again, there is a Cloudy Noon for final tune with a different arrangement of the same melody used in the Hana Yori Dango final soundtrack, and I will shoot a reaction to that right after this. So let me know what you think of this foundational tune for the series, and if you were part of that watch along over on Patreon, shout out again to Michaela and Dawn and to any others who are watching, or if you just know the show, and if you are interested, I'll try to remember to put a link to my now complete Hana Yori Dango watch along collection over on Patreon in the description here. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.